Watching this video, you're probably curious to know how anybody can guarantee that you will get results, right? In your bad habits, your emotions like panic, anxiety, trauma, phobias, depression, frustration, resentment, guilt, shame. You're probably wondering how someone can guarantee that, and I'm going to explain exactly what that is in this video. Stay tuned because at the very end, I'm going to give you a few specific core strategies for some of the most challenging problems that you're facing if you're watching this. But I want to talk about why I guarantee my clients results. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tyler, and I am your anxiety, panic, trauma, and phobia relief coach. My job is to help you quickly and sustainably through these things. And in order to have a good understanding of why my way of thinking and strategies work, I did another video talking about how I don't believe in any mental illnesses and there's no mental disorders. I just don't believe in it. What I believe in is that everything that you and I do and feel and believe is an attempt to meet some very basic needs. It's an attempt to meet some very basic needs. Now you might say, Tyler, well, what could panicking be getting me? I promise it's meeting some needs, right? I would go and watch my other video that's not about this in this call. But here's what I do want to say. Because I understand exactly why you do what you do, feel what you feel, believe what you believe, do the habits that you continue to do, whether you love those things or whether you hate some of those things, because I know exactly why you do them practically, I've been able to come up with strategies that allow you to break out of those habits, those behaviors, those emotions, those beliefs really quickly. Here's the problem. When you don't understand why you do what you do, feel what you feel, believe what you believe, it's really fucking challenging to get anywhere. It's like a therapist talking to you for 5 minutes and saying, I think you might have a panic disorder. You might have an anxiety disorder. First of all, those don't exist. It's a response from your nervous system to deal with something else. That's it. It's a response. That response became a habit because it met some of your basic needs, as I alluded to a minute ago, but you don't have a disorder. And so when they sit with you for 5 minutes and they're like, you have this disorder, you might have this disorder, tell me about your parents, did they struggle with this too? It's probably genetics. They're literally talking out their ass. It doesn't, like, none of that exists. None of that exists at all. So here's the thing. Whether it be a phobia, a bad habit, a belief, anxiety, panic attacks, addictions, all of that can not only be explained that fast, but you can come out of most of them in about a week. A phobia, 20 to 25, or sorry, 5 to 25 minutes. If something's a phobia, you can get over that for good for the rest of your life in about 5 to 25 minutes. If it's a bad habit, 3 to 5 days maybe. If it is depending on the tools that you're using, if you're seeing someone who's a really good hypnotist, like Dr. Richard Bandler, maybe a few minutes. But in the way that I help, at least, phobias, 5 to 25 minutes, really bad habits, 3 to 5 days-ish, give or take. If it is a emotional pattern that keeps coming up, a couple days. If it is something to do with your relationship, well, that really depends on how committed you are to that, because you're probably not going to want to do the things you're going to need to do to make that better. Not in the state that you're currently in. Because again, hear me when I say this. Your emotional state, simply put, how you're feeling emotionally, will always determine what you're choosing to believe in the story you're telling yourself in this moment, and therefore what you will or won't do. I hear people all the time say like, "Oh, you just gotta like use willpower or just push through it or white knuckle through." And good fucking luck doing that for more than a few minutes or hours or days. It's not gonna happen. Your nervous system has a fucking job to do. And that job to do is to make sure it meets its basic needs. This is why you will notice that you sometimes go against what you believe is most important to meet your needs. You might value loyalty and honesty, but you'll cheat to meet your needs. Or you will lie to meet your needs. Or you might value health, but you might fucking scarf down 3 Big Macs to meet your needs. We will all violate our values to meet our needs. This is a fact, not of mine. This is the human nervous system. So welcome to it. We have all done something that we're not proud of and that we feel like, fuck, I wish I hadn't have done that. That was just you trying to meet your needs. That's it. So let's get into this. If it is a phobia, this is how fast you can overcome this. Number one, I just keep seeing people walk by. My apologies. Number one, we need to get you in a really good emotional state first. Feeling strong, feeling creative, feeling like a badass, feeling like a boss bitch, whatever you call your nicknames of these like really good emotions. It could be feeling unstoppable. It could be feeling a sense of love and comfort. It doesn't matter, but some very positive feeling. That's it. That's the first step. Once you're feeling that, what I would do is have you disassociate from whatever the phobia thing is in your mind. So I've helped women with balloons phobias and heights phobias, phobias of feeling stuck. There's so many different phobias that show up in your everyday life. But once you're feeling really good, okay, you have to disassociate from whatever the thing is in your mind that freaks you out like crazy. If it's a balloon, you imagine yourself holding a balloon way out there. This scary image of you holding it way out there. If it is an elevator, you imagine yourself getting on the elevator, but like outside of you. As long as you're associated to it, your nervous system is going to feel it as if it is true. So you can't be fully associated to it. You, in your mind, just mentally have to imagine it further away from you. Okay? So that's step two. Step three is we have to fuck with the imagery, fuck with the sounds, fuck with the sensations. Now you might be like, Tyler, you're so aggressive. No, I'm just being honest. And I like to swear. It kind of jolts your nervous system a little bit, doesn't it? When you hear me say fuck, fuck, fuck several times. That's the point. I'm trying to shift your state emotionally as you're watching this. That's what the coaching does as well. If coaching or therapy does not shift your nervous system, meaning your feelings in the middle of it, you're not getting anywhere. So, you need to fuck with what you're imagining visually, auditorily, meaning the sounds, and what you're feeling kinesthetically in your body. When you're dissociated from it and you screw with what you're seeing and what you're imagining and the sounds associated to it, and the feelings that you're getting as a result, you do that, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, might take 30 seconds to a minute, and then you open your eyes and you imagine yourself in the same situation, but you imagine yourself completely calm, like enjoying it, and you breathe at the same time. So imagining it while you're calm, like imagining yourself touching the snake or whatever the elevator, right? Whatever the thing is, you're imagining yourself in that scary situation, looking totally calm in that situation as you're breathing. That's it. Within 5 minutes, your phobia is gone. That's it. It takes no time at all. So that's a phobia. Now, every phobia works a little bit differently, but that is the essence of how 90% of them work. People who have heights phobias tend to get out of bed really, really quickly. And it's because their motivation strategy, if you will, in their head is, if I see myself doing it, I feel like I am. So they wake up in the morning and they see themselves getting out of bed, they feel like they are, and they do it. So when they're imagining themselves at heights, they see themselves in their head jumping off. They feel like they're doing it, and it creates vertigo. That's why you get that feeling. So you need to change the way you're representing all the images, sounds, and feelings in your head. That'll create a new feeling in the body. Very, very simple. And then we need to recode the experience. What I mean by that simply is, if it's a snake phobia, once it's gone, we need to have you breathing while you're holding a snake, or at least seeing a snake at minimum. Touch the snake. That way your brain has a new emotional experience of doing that. Very simply. Okay? So that's a phobia. Very simple. A trauma is actually even easier. If you put a 2-inch thick border around that traumatic thought or memory in your mind, then you shrink it down to the size of a nickel, blink it black and white, 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 okay? And then you start at the end, rewind it backwards, and you start laughing in the middle of this, and you think back to it, you'll feel neutral. That's the whole point. It changes all the feelings in your nervous system that you have associated to that memory. Done. We have covered a phobia and traumatic memories in what? 5 minutes? Maybe 10? Could have done it faster. Let's move on to panic attacks. In order for you to have a panic attack, you must do something with your body, with what you're imagining in your mind, and there's some sort of question and tone of voice in your head. Imagine you could not sit like this, right? You couldn't sit like this, like in this ready position, and panic. This doesn't work. Try it right now, right? You're smiling. Think about something you enjoy and breathe. No panic, right? Because it's physically fucking impossible. Panic attacks don't happen to us. We do them. We're just not doing them consciously. So imagine, by the way, all the symptoms and sensations you feel, the dizziness, the tingles, the heart palpitations, all of that comes as a result of panicking. So don't focus on that. Focus on getting rid of the panic, all right, in the way that I'm going to show you how to do it, and it won't come up anymore. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Getting this so far, Instagram live stream? Any questions so far? I'm recording this on Instagram. Cool. Any questions you have, let me know. So, imagine this now. Imagine in my mind, I am asking myself in this tone of, not in this tone of voice, but in this tone of voice, what if something happens, I totally freak out and I lose control and I embarrass myself and nobody's there to help me, and I have that question in this tone of voice on repeat in my head. What if I lose control, totally freak out, no one's there to help me? What if I totally freak out, lose control, no one's there to help me? What if something terrible happens, I lose control, totally freak out, no one's there to help me? And I keep asking that in this tone of voice in my head, and I'm imagining something terrible happening, and I'm like tightening my body in some shape or form. I've had a lot of clients where they'll either put their hand up here, or they're like holding their legs, or there's some sort of closing in your body and you're not breathing. So close your body, breathe really shallow, breathe quickly. Think of the worst case scenario, ask a question like, what if, terrible scenario? When you do that, that creates panic. So we need to break that habit. Listen to me now, you don't have a disorder. You are not mentally ill. You're doing your panic attack. You're doing your anxiety attack. You just don't know how until this moment, so you've never been able to stop it. It feels like it's happening to you, right? Feels like it. But you're just doing it automatically, habitually, if you will. So think about it this way. When you wake up in the morning and you say good morning to your kids or to your spouse or to whoever the fuck, do you wake up and go, okay, I'm now going to go up to Tyler and I'm going to say hello, and then I'm going to give him a hug, then I'm going to walk over to the kitchen to start making him breakfast? Do you think about all that consciously, or do you just do it? You just do it, right? And so you have to understand that you are doing panic attacks. You're doing them. They are a verb, not a noun. People talk about panic attacks and anxiety attacks as if they're a noun, like a person, place, or a thing. Like they're a physical thing that you can just hold. They say, I have panic attacks. I get panic attacks. My panic attacks. No, this is a thing. This memory card is a noun. This is something I can physically hold. This is mine. I own this. Okay? You don't have or own your emotions. You're doing them. They are behaviors. If you don't actively engage in what you're doing to create it, you won't have panic. You're not going to feel it. It's not going to happen. And by you're not going to feel it, I mean you won't experience any of those feelings. So what I will often have my clients do is I will have them pick a spot in their house that they rarely sit. Instagram, it's that spot over there that I usually point to. It's like there's like a foot between my wall and my sofa right there that you see. I'll show you. Right there. See it? Right over there? Right? I will tell my clients, I'm like, I want you to pick somewhere that you rarely ever sit. And tell me, how many times a day do you panic? They'll say maybe 4. I'm like, great. I want you to sit in that spot that you rarely sit for 5 minutes, 8 times a day. So you're going to double the amount of panic attacks that you usually have, and you're going to do it for 5 straight minutes. sit there, panic, 5 straight minutes. By day, and I say do this for 7 days. Usually by day 2, they're having a hard time panicking. The panic just goes away. And the reason is because your nervous system learned this is fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. Like, I'm done. I'm not getting anything out of this. And you just stop. You're going to notice you have a very hard time panicking at all. Broke the habit because it's a habit, not an illness. If it was an illness or a disorder, there's nothing that you and I could do about it. There's nothing we could do. Now, that's probably why your therapist says, let's cope, let's cope, let's cope, let's manage it. Because they believe that it's this wave that's just going to fucking come all over you and just, ooh. It's not. It's a habit. We're doing it. We just haven't been taught how until now. Part of the reason I guarantee my clients results. Because they're absolutely doing it. And it's their choice, by the way, once they're aware of it, if they want to stop or not. Now, I like to have my clients do things where it's just unconsciously fucking difficult to do it. The automatic habit of that is broken. That's my preference. But you can also do this consciously where you just become aware that there's something that you're doing to create it and stop doing it. But you'd have to find a better way to meet your needs. Because panic meets your needs. Now let's talk about bad habits. In the course of 20 minutes, we've talked about how to get rid of phobias. Not all of them, obviously, but like the essence of how to do that. The essence of how to get rid of panic altogether. I feel like we said one other one that I missed. Oh, well, we talked about and trauma. That's right. 3 of them. Now let's talk about bad habits. Instagram. I'm going to talk to Instagram for a moment, but I want you to think about the question I'm going to ask you. Instagram. Would you agree that the bad habits that you do, you're clearly trying to get something from it, right? Whether you like the habit or not, there's something you're trying to get from the habit, correct? I used to watch porn, like masturbation and porn. I used to do that when I was like my young 20s, and certainly I watched a lot of porn in my teen years. A lot of boys do. I want you to think about this. Whether it's porn, whether it's food, whether it's wine, whether it's scrolling on your phone, whether it's Netflix or anything else, I want you to notice that you're not doing it for no reason. You might hate the fact that you're doing it. You might feel guilty or shameful or gross or blah, blah, blah. But you know there is a reason you're doing it. There's some emotional benefit that you're getting to doing it. Right? It's just, why else would we do it? There is a feeling that doing this thing leads to. If you're overeating, it's probably because you're stressed out, and when you eat, changes your focus, changes your breathing, it calms you down for a short time. I've worked with a lot of men just like myself where they were addicted to porn for a long time. What does it do for them? It changes how they're feeling for obvious reasons, and it actually makes you feel like a woman, makes you feel like you're enough. The woman's looking at you, even though we know it's bullshit. When you're looking at your phone or your computer screen or whatever, and the woman's looking up at you, you actually feel like you're enough for somebody for once, right? So there are reasons we do these things. Alcohol, what does it do? People say, I'm an alcoholic. Well, that's going to be helpful to just fucking command to a room, I am an alcoholic, I am an alcoholic, I am an alcoholic. That's not going to fucking get you anywhere. Great. Let's just incant and affirm into our nervous system and own that we are an alcoholic. Wonderful. Let's not do that. Why do we drink? We're probably so stressed out. We don't know what to do in our relationship. We don't know how to figure that out. We get so angry and so resentful and so depressed and so anxious and not knowing what to do that we are so stressed out that what do we end up doing? We drink away our sorrows, right? We drink. When we drink, we numb out all the stress for a moment. We feel good for a moment. It just numbs everything out. Of course it's an addiction. If you don't know what to do to make your life fucking better and regulate your emotions when you do feel a bit stressed, then of course you're going to keep doing that. You're going to lean on the thing that makes you feel better for a short time. Mine was porn and Skittles when I was in my early 20s. A lot of people, it's food. Like a lot of people, it's food. That's like the most common one. Cigarettes, alcohol, scrolling on your phone, burying yourself in work, burying yourself with your kids. You might think, no, I'm just prioritizing my kids. No, if that's all you're doing and you're always focusing on them, that is an addiction. You're focused on that because you're trying to distract yourself from the other shit that you don't know what to do about. Very simple pattern. Very simple pattern. So how do we overcome this? Any habit that you have that you don't like, if you put that on a schedule and you do it for a certain amount of time in a very specific place, the habit is not going to last. That's all there is to it. It's not going to last. So obviously it depends on the habit, right? Like my teacher, one of my teachers once worked with a boy, an 8-year-old boy, who was putting pins and needles into his stomach until he was like bleeding. And it didn't matter how much the nurses wrapped him up in his stomach, he just fucking eventually got back to it. So his nervous system needed to not want to do that. He had to stop getting the emotional benefits out of that. Because what happens is his mom even took the pins and needles out of the house. But then what happened was he ended up finding sharper things to use. So that obviously became more dangerous. This is why, by the way, I hate when therapists say you have XYZ disorder. No, you don't. That is not understanding and appreciating what you're actually feeling and what you're attempting to get. In the same way that when I've ever worked with couples and one of them is cheating on the other one, the man cheating on the wife cheating on the man, it doesn't matter. You will notice there was something they're getting out of it. And sure, we can judge our fucking faces off, but that's not going to make your marriage better. And if you're judging yourself for cheating, that's not going to get what you want. It's not going to leave you dissatisfaction in the marriage or the other person that you're seeing. We just have to look at things practically and say, what are we doing this for? What are we trying to get out of this? Or not even trying. What are we getting out of this? Without judgment. What's the feeling? What's the emotional benefit? Now, luckily, I know exactly what those are because there's only a few of them. I have a whole video series on YouTube about this, but they're there. You can go look at, oh, fuck, I'm meeting these emotional needs. I can see why I'm doing this. It's pretty fucking obvious once you see it. You can't unsee it. So with all this said, if you regulate and put this thing on a schedule, your nervous system is going to get tired of it and say, I don't like this anymore. I'm not getting the same benefits as I used to. It'll become more of an inconvenience, not intellectually, but at a gut level. If you've ever had an alcohol or a food that you really love, or maybe you had a friend who had an alcohol or a food that they really loved, and one day they had way too much of it and they were puking it up all night long, right? That puking and that feeling in your body and all those aromas in your face mixed with the thought of what you were drinking and the taste of what you were drinking creates what I call a new neural association, meaning a new emotion that you associate to that drink. And it won't take any fucking willpower to stop. You'll just stop. You'll just stop. And that's how you get rid of bad habits. So like I said, I wanted to actually go back to the dangerous behavior one because I didn't finish that. With the dangerous behavior, obviously you're not going to put that on a schedule and do more of it. Dangerous behaviors, you're not going to do that. What you would do is find a way to symbolically represent the behavior. Now, for any of you who are very new to psychology, neurology, things like this, what that means is you find a way to do the act of that behavior, but in the most safe way possible, in a way that still meets the needs. So let me give an example. I had my teacher, she with the kid with pins and needles. What happened is she had the mom take him into a separate room to the other siblings, and she got him a teddy bear. She made him a teddy bear, and he had to stick 100 pins into the teddy bear, and then when he got to 100, he had to count backwards from 100, 99, 98, all the way to 1. And he had to do this every day for like 14 days. He stopped doing it. He got so bored of pins and needles that they found alternatives. So here's the biggest problem. I guarantee I can help you through any of these things because there's reasons you're doing it. And here's all that matters. Number one, right now you're getting an emotional benefit from the thing that you're doing or the emotions you're feeling that you fucking hate doing. Okay? So all we need to do is understand what are those emotional benefits. Great. Now we have to break the emotional association in your nervous system by doing any of the things that I mentioned here. Once it's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck, I hate that. Once it's difficult to do it, you've broken the pattern in your nervous system. Now you can find an alternative thing that meets your needs better. I'll give you an example of what I mean in a second, but then you're done. Your nervous system is trying to meet certain needs, and it's gotten in the habit of doing panics, of smoking weed, of drinking, of cheating on your spouse, of whatever it might be, in order to meet those emotional needs. Then we break the pattern so it doesn't meet those needs anymore. It feels sickening in your gut level to even think about doing it anymore. Now we find, here's what I was going to say about the emotional needs. Now, all we have to do is give you something else to do that will meet the same needs as the bad behavior did. So as a simple example, let's say you overeat, and the benefit you get is a sense of comfort. The benefit you get is a sense of variety for a moment because it changes how you feel, right? All you need to do once we've broken that emotional association to overeating, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, then all we have to do is find something else that can make you feel the same way food used to. So you can find a new way of breathing to calm yourself down. You can find a new way to change your emotional state for a moment. Those are the exact same two things that food did for you, right? So you can go for a walk. You can dive into the fear to solve the problem so that it doesn't build up to the point where you need to escape or distract from those stressful feelings. Anything like that. Anything that you do differently that meets the same needs that the habit did meet, you're going to stop doing it. Now, why do I guarantee my clients results? Because it's practical why you're doing what you're doing. The reason why therapists tend not to give any kind of timeline at all isn't because you might not do what they ask you to do. It has nothing to do with that. It's that they believe all you can do is cope with and manage the feelings. It's weird. Whenever you see a therapist for a certain amount of time and you're having a week or a month where you're feeling better consistently, they will tell you, oh, well, you might go back. So we got to keep doing our coping strategies. You might go back. So we got to make sure that we keep doing whatever the fuck I've been recommending, taking your meds. You might go back. You might relapse. How is that helpful? What kind of therapist and helper is that? It's so dumb. It is unbelievably dumb. So we need to make sure, number one, we understand the emotional benefit and we actually appreciate ourselves. We actually appreciate our spouse. We appreciate the person who's doing this. I don't mean be thankful. I mean come from an understanding point of view of like, okay, if I had those same beliefs and those same associations and the same stresses and all those things, I would be doing the same thing. So understand and appreciate yourself or whoever this other person is that you're thinking about as I've been mentioning all this. Secondly, we need to break the pattern so our nervous system does not want to do this anymore. In other words, when you think about doing this very thing, it makes you, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. It makes you like you just stay away from it. It doesn't take any willpower. Then you find a new alternative. Too many therapists are trying to give you something new to do, but they haven't first broken the pattern. They haven't first broken the pattern. Meaning they're trying to help you to stop panicking, stop having panic attacks, but you're having panic attacks for a reason. You're doing panic attacks for a reason. When you panic, you get to go back home into your comfort zone. When you panic, your husband will say, bring you your coffee, and he will help you do errands. When you panic, you can get out of work. When you panic, you don't need to have that super difficult conversation. When you panic, there are benefits. When you panic, your husband or wife gives you more attention and is more present with you than they used to be when your relationship was falling apart. So there are benefits. I'm not saying it's good or bad or you're even being manipulative. I'm saying there are benefits. There are emotional benefits, and that is the reason we keep doing this. If we don't break that pattern first, doesn't matter how much therapy you do. It's not going to work. So if you're interested in my help in getting lasting relief and getting your life back on track regarding these emotions and all this, I'm absolutely happy to see if I can help you. Right now, at the time of this video, July 16th, 2025, I'm taking one person on. But if you are watching this like at any amount of time in the future, very likely that I have spots for you. I'll coach you one-on-one, get you through this very fast. As long as you're committed to doing what I ask you to do, you are coachable, meaning you give me the information that I need, but then you shush. I have so many clients who, when I'm talking to them, they'll go on and on and on and on and on and at all the things that have ever happened in their life. And I'm like, I thought you came here for results. If you're just going to talk and talk and talk, like I need to be able to give you the things to do and to understand, which means let me, like a doctor, ask you the very specific questions and get to the point where I'm like, I know exactly what to do. Most people spend so much time talking about the problems that in 10 minutes we could have told you what to do and how to get out of this for good. But you kept talking because you believe that we need to understand every detail of your life and what's going on in order to help you. It's not true. Humans aren't unique. You, my friend, are not unique. You are unique in that you're a soul, you're a spirit, and you're an amazing person. I know that for certain, for 100%. But you're not unique in how your nervous system works, and therefore getting past all of the things that we mentioned in this video. You are not unique at all. We can get you through it very, very quickly. So if that's you, and you are curious to see how I might be able to help you as an individual, drop the word relief in the comments of this YouTube video, or go to Instagram at tyler.charlebois and DM me the word relief there. Or finally, I just put the booking link in my the description of this video. Okay, it's a free call, 15 minutes to see if or how I can even help you. And if I can, I'll give you the details, and if not, I'll try to point you in the direction that I can. All right? Hopefully this was helpful.